If you're poor in America, you're middle class in Vietnam. If you're middle class in America, you're rich in Vietnam. I've been having this epiphany, and it's the truth, because of the fact that the wages and the gap is so different in terms of how much expenditure, how much buying power you have. You are far wealthier off in Vietnam just by moving. So, look, normally I would be, making this type of video while I'm on a bike, grab bike, but you can't see it, but it is pouring outside right now. But I still wanted to get a video out, but yeah, the storm's really bad, or just rather raining heavily. But it just got me thinking, okay, what's considered rich in Vietnam? And the first factor is you have so many different services that you would think is only available to the rich and wealthy back in America. In fact, those are just rich words, wealthy words, like wealth signifier words, that the moment you say it, you have this certain perception in other people's eyes. So, for example, if you say, oh, I have a maid or a cleaning lady that comes to my house 2-3 times a week, those are wealthy words. Or if you have a driver, or if you say, yeah, I just went out like steakhouse dinner, like 4th time this week, or yeah, I just went out, played some golf, yeah, went to the beach for vacation really quick, then just came back. Those type of activities are what I believe as like wealth signifiers, and when you say it, people have this certain perception of you. So that's in the States. But here in Vietnam, those are just services you can actually just have. In fact, because of the price is so much reduced and the buying power is so much higher, in fact, those are just things that it's just like having a car mechanic like fix your car, or like, hey, can you do delivery service? Now, I'm not saying the like service lady or cleaning lady or driver is like, it's a service job. So what I'm saying is those type of things are not luxury or wealthy in terms of Vietnam, because you're able to actually do them because of buying power and having the money and expenditures to be able to do it. So you're going to be considered rich here, or at least have that perception, or at least actually have those services. All right? So that's one aspect of what's considered rich here in Vietnam. Another factor is if you live in well-known rich cities. So Thao Dinh is considered rich. If you say you live here, you're going to be known to Vietnamese people here as, oh, you must have either have a house or have a nice fancy apartment. Something is known as called as the Mastery, which is a high-rise city view next to the mall type of apartment. And if you tell that to the Vietnamese people here, yeah, they'll be like, oh wow, you're like rich. But if you actually see the pricing difference, if you just want something like a simple 1-bedroom, it can range from between $800 to $900 a month. 2-bedroom, you're looking at $1,200 to $1,300. Now, if you're talking like nicer and get higher, like penthouse, like at the top view, $2,500 to $3,000, which I just found out in New York City, if you want just like a, I don't know, normal 1-bedroom apartment in New York City, in the center, let's say Manhattan, this is just normal, by the way. This is just basic living conditions. You're looking at a $3,000 price point? $3,000 for just basic. All to just say, I live in Manhattan, but your actual living condition is that matching the description of, somebody who lives in Manhattan that has that certain like luxury. No, rather than just having the perception or saying I live in Manhattan, let's actually live like in the movies somebody would in Manhattan. Let's actually have high-rise views. Let's actually have, 3, 4 bedroom apartments for half the price. Let's actually have cleaning service, or I push away to saying maid because I don't really like that term, but cleaning lady come 2, 3 times a week. Like, let's actually live. So those are easily just switching up the place of living. You'd be considered richer just having me to live in that. That's another aspect as well. By the way, I know I should be eating the rice, but I just had to get these thoughts in my head, and wanted to convey my thoughts. Trust me, it's not getting too cold. Then, what's another thing that's considered rich here is if you do have cars, luxury jewelry, but I think that's everywhere in the world. But the thing about Vietnam, I've noticed, is it's not flashy. That's actually kind of a bonus, is the fact that people in Vietnam, they don't really flash their wealth in places, compared to places like Miami or I guess parts of New York City. There's certain things like maybe flash their watch or their necklace, buy a bunch of nice clothes, luxurious things. I noticed here they're not as flashy and want to show off as much. In fact, I had a friend who told me a story about how he was eating at a pho shop, just like on the side. It's like a pho stand here in Thao Dinh, and they have those little chairs just sitting down on the table. It's like locals just squat down, which, by the way, I don't even know how they squat that low. I guess I forgot that at birth to get that genetic ability. But as they're squatting down, eating the pho, all of a sudden a Rolls Royce comes out of nowhere and just parks close by the pho shop, and just comes out this guy. I'm just gonna assume has money, but he comes out and just sits down as if he's one of the locals and just started eating pho, like just casually. That made me open my eyes because I was thinking, really? He's just chilling? Wouldn't they be eating more at like luxurious places or nice restaurants, things like that? But no, the Vietnamese people here, I've noticed, is they're not like flashing their wealth, at least not in a way that's like overly the top. Or maybe I could be in the wrong groups, but I haven't seen anything like that in Vietnam. Just walking the streets, it's just pretty chill about that. I guess another part as well that signifies wealth is I was mentioning that if you do eat out at nice restaurants frequently and ask people and invite people to come with you. So there are nice restaurants that if you say, it's going to be like, oh, you've been there before? For example, there's one restaurant in Thao. It's not even a restaurant. It's more like a chill cafe, like brunch type of place. It's called The Bricks in Thao Dinh. Now, this is probably one of the first coffee shops, brunch place I've ever seen in my life where it has a swimming pool attached to the brunch area, like literally like where people eat. Like literally there's a swimming pool and then there's people just having like coffee and lunch. And I remember I was on a date with a cute Vietnamese girl, and I just mentioned to her, I was like, oh yeah, I was just eating some brunch at The Bricks, and their facial expression was like, whoa, that place is so nice, it's so fancy, oh, it's like really delicious. And I was just like, no, I spent like $3 there. It was nothing but she was in awe of the fact that it's a very popular spot in Vietnam, and a lot of the people, see it on like Instagram or see those type of places that are like really high end, or at least it's in Thao Dinh. So because of that, it has that factor. But there's certain restaurants that you go and certain places like that has that factor, like if you frequent there a lot. But the thing is, you're not spending a bunch of money. compared to like if you're trying to go in America to a nice restaurant, nice place. Oh, what is it? Is Olive Garden nice? I'm thinking that I don't I don't know exactly, but let's say like a $400, $500, $1,000 place. You can eat there, but you're actually spending $500, $1,000 for food there, right? Just to have that premium quality like aspect to it. While in Vietnam, you can still have that same quality, name, and aspect when you're telling people, but you don't even have to pay those type of prices. In fact, you're paying like a fifth, sometimes even a tenth, depending what you're ordering. And that, and you get to say, oh yeah, I frequent there frequently, because you actually can. You can eat there frequently with the amount of buying power you have. So, those are just some thoughts I had in terms of what's considered rich here in Vietnam. And then my main point is what you can get in America, Canada, and other Western places that would be considered just normal or out of your reach is it's extremely possible. In fact, why is it not possible considering the numbers I'm hearing people spend just on rent, on just like expenditures or just trying to eat out at nice places? It's extremely possible if you just do one simple thing, just go boop, and you're in a new place. All it is a change of location. So, yeah. My rice is getting cold, and I know it's a little bit different than normal bike videos, but it's still pouring. But I will get to this and hopefully see you on the other side of the world.